Yo, ich bin Daniel Donskoy. Willkommen zur zweiten Staffel von Freitagnacht Juice. Und diesmal ist alles ein bisschen anders. Freitagnacht Juice hat sich entwickelt, ist gewachsen, hat die Pubertät und Bar Mitzwa hinter sich gelassen und macht jetzt Auslandssemester. Die einzige jüdische Late-Night-Show geht auf Reisen. Diesmal nicht mit dem Zug und auch nicht One-Way. Willkommen zu Freitagnacht Juice Around the World.
What's up? Guten Tag, Freitag, I'm home, bevor wir beginnen. Shabbat Shalom, I'm your homeboy, alles fresh, alles neu. Habt ihr Fragen an den Juden? Herzlich willkommen. Jude, 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 einfach nur ein Wort, aber Antisemitismus ist in Deutschland Sport. What? Jude, 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 Friday Night Jew.
Juden, 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 Juden. Sorry, Jews. We're in London. I fucking love it. In Staffel 1 haben wir uns gefragt, ob es selbstverständlich ist, jüdisches Leben zu zeigen. Relativ schnell wurde uns klar, nein. Aber das trifft nicht nur auf jüdisches Leben in Deutschland zu, sondern leider auf die Darstellung der meisten marginalisierten Gruppen. Ist es ein deutsches Problem? Ist es nur in Deutschland schwer zu sagen, ich bin Deutscher und Jude, Deutscher und Türke, Deutscher und Russe? Liegt es in der deutschen Geschichte, den Medien oder liegt es an euch Russen? But we are in London.
London calling to the faraway towns. Now war is declared and battle come down.
Haben es Juden hier einfacher, sich als Briten zu bezeichnen? Ist es in einer postkolonialen Gesellschaft, die viel diverser ist als unsere, einfacher, seine eigene Kultur zu leben und zu verstehen und sich dennoch nicht fremd zu fühlen? Die jüdische Community ist hier die weltweit fünftgrößte. Nach den USA, Kanada, Israel und Frankreich. Ganze 0,43 Prozentpunkte macht es aus. Wir werden natürlich essen, wir werden trinken, wir werden diskutieren und vor allem werden wir versuchen herauszufinden, von wo die jüdische Weltverschwörung im Detail koordiniert wird. Denn nach Staffel 1 bin ich mir sicher, nicht aus Deutschland. Mit geschärftem Blick sind wir unterwegs, auf der Suche nach Vielfalt, Pluralismus und Selbstverständnis. Wir wollen etwas mitnehmen. Im Idealfall Ideen, Meinungen und Eindrücke, die uns irgendwann helfen werden, in Deutschland zu sagen:
Ja, wir sind ein multikulturelles Einwanderungsland, bei dem die verschiedensten Gruppierungen ein Zusammengehörigkeitsgefühl entwickeln können. Dass stolz zu sein nicht bedeuten muss, Johannes oder Brigitte zu heißen. Ja!
2011 bin ich hier für die Schauspielschule hingezogen. Und was soll ich sagen? Ich lieb's. Es ist schnell, es ist laut, aber vor allem liebe ich London für seine Diversität. Von außen sieht das multikulturelle Konstrukt ziemlich gelungen aus. Na klar, die Geschichte Englands, harter, schamloser Kolonialismus und krasse kulturelle Ausbeutung haben auch mit dazu beigetragen. Und trotzdem hört man immer wieder Menschen mit den verschiedensten Hintergründen sagen: Yes, I'm British.
Ich bin Brite. Ich bin Brite. Wir sind Briten.
Wir sind Britinnen.
Ich bin Brite. Ich bin Brite. Ich bin Brite. Ich bin Brite. Ich bin Brite.
Ich bin Brite.
Ich bin Brite. Wir sind Briten. Ich bin Ire.
Ob nun die Geschichten der Eltern oder einem selbst in Nigeria, Jamaika oder in Europa begonnen haben. Oder ob man britischer Jude ist. Klar spielt Rassismus hier eine große Rolle. Aber vor allem tut's die Klassengesellschaft. Der Cut ist hart. Eton, Cambridge, Oxford, elitärer Background oder Working Class. London ist auch in diesem Sinne sehr gemischt. Hinter einem Luxusblock kommt gleich die nächste Sozialbaute. In Deutschland werden Antisemitismus und Rassismus oft im gleichen Atemzug genannt. Von manchen verglichen, von manchen gleichgestellt. Ob das richtig ist, darüber wird viel diskutiert. Richtig, falsch, richtig, falsch, richtig, falsch. Die englischen Juden haben im Zweiten Weltkrieg zum Teil für England gekämpft. waren auch immer wieder und bis heute Antisemitismus ausgesetzt, aber ihnen wurde das Brite-Sein nicht abgesprochen. Der Hass auf ihre Religion, auf ihre Identität hat nicht dazu beigetragen, millionenfach vergast zu werden. Als einzige Community Europas waren sie nicht dem Holocaust ausgesetzt. Haben sie einen Sonderstatus? Oder leben sie das gleiche Kollektivtrauma weiter, wie es zum Beispiel deutsche, französische, polnische, russische, eigentlich alle Juden Europas tun? Haben es britische Juden einfacher, beide Identitäten in sich zu tragen? Sehen sie das Judentum vielleicht viel mehr als Religion, als es viele in Deutschland tun? Wir treffen jetzt jemanden, der sein Verhältnis zu Gott etwas besser pflegt als ich. Und zwar Rabbi Sam Fromson.
How's it going?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Nice to see you.
You too. Thank you for the coffee.
Such a pleasure.
I'm going straight in with the first question.
Hit me.
Jewish and British. Does that form any sort of contradiction for you?
Genuinely not. I'm very proud to be British. I'm 7 generations on my dad's side. But at the same time, I'm an Orthodox Jewish rabbi, and I wear kippah, tzitzit, and it's very noticeably part of my identity. I think they go well together.
In a city with so many Orthodox-looking Jews, I speak about the hat and the tails. Do people go, where is yours? Where's your hat? Why do you look so modern?
It happens to me the whole time.
Okay.
People can't wrap their heads around the fact that I'm a rabbi, or if they do, they think maybe I'm a Reform rabbi. And obviously that would be a lovely thing, but I'm proud to be Orthodox.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a religious perspective rather than a societally informed dress code.
Do you think the perception, the self-perception of Jews in the UK is that Judaism is a religion, it's a culture, it's both? What is it for you? What is it for the general public?
Look, for me personally, it's very much a religion.
Yeah.
I'm a rabbi. I officiate at weddings and funerals, and I daven every day. I pray in the morning and evening. But at the same time, of course, there's so much cultural richness to Judaism, and it's lovely to participate in that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't define Judaism for me.
Because we're a show from Germany, of course, we have to speak about the H word. So, how much does Holocaust remembrance, how much of it is an integral part of the self-perception of Jews in the UK? Do you think it's an integral part?
It's a really important question, and of course it's there. It's an underlying element of your identity as a Jew. However, it's not something that comes up on a daily basis. I wouldn't be out there meeting people at work. People would never bring up the Holocaust. It just doesn't happen. And
in Germany it happens.
I was at the embassy, and in fact they was trying to offload their guilt in that moment.
Embassy.
I won't say that.
You got a German passport now, und du sprichst auch Deutsch.
Ich kann ein kleines bisschen, habe in der Schule gelernt.
In der Schule gelernt?
Ja, meine Familie kommt aus Schlüchten.
Aus
in der Nähe von Frankfurt, ja.
Ich war noch nie dort, aber ich bin mir sicher, es ist sehr, sehr schön.
Vielen Dank.
Dann Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Die Mehrheit der jüdischen Community ist hier seit Generationen verwurzelt. Denn eine von den Nazis staatlich organisierte Massenvernichtung hat hier, wie auf Europas Festland, nicht stattgefunden. Und diese Überlegungen führen mich zu folgender These. Britische Juden haben es anders als in Deutschland einfacher, beide Identitäten in sich zu tragen. Eine britische und eine jüdische. Ich mache mir jetzt einen gemütlichen Abend und morgen sehen wir uns auf dem Fischmarkt wieder, denn dann gibt's Fish and Chips und jetzt auf jeden Fall schlafen. Bier heute Abend.
Some people think I'm bonkers, but I just think I'm free. Man, I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me.
Wenn man an eine britische Küche denkt, fallen einem natürlich direkt die Haute Cuisine von Bohnen und Würstchen ein. Dann noch der schottische Maßriegel, frittiert und Haggis. Aber heute Abend gibt es etwas, wovon ihr sicherlich nicht wusstet, dass es irgendeinen Bezug zu jüdischem Leben hat. Und zwar Fish and Chips. Ihr werdet überrascht sein, dass Fish and Chips, dieses wirklich typische Gericht, eigentlich von aus dem heutigen Portugal geflohenen Juden hierher gebracht wurde. Die Chips, also, sind eigentlich aus Belgien, aus Frankreich. Fuck it. Pommes ist Pommes. Fisch war besonders wichtig für die Meranos. Iberische Juden, die im 16. Jahrhundert aus Eigenschutz und während der Inquisition vorgaben, Christen zu sein. Sie aßen freitags Fisch, wenn Fleisch von der Kirche verboten war. Erst paniert und dann gebraten, konnten sie ein paar Stücke aufheben, um sie am nächsten Tag zu essen. Denn Juden dürfen am Schabbat nicht kochen. Perfekte Tarnung. So, ich brauche Kabeljau. Fische. Do you have any cod?
Ja, hier.
Cod, nice. This one looks cute as well, though.
Ja.
What's that?
Ein Wels.
Ein Codfish.
Ja.
Sehr süß. Ich finde, wir sollten heiraten. Aber mit der Mutter hat gesagt, mit Essen spielt man nicht, deswegen. Okay, I'm gonna take the cod.
Ja.
Please, yeah. Willkommen in unserer Dinner-Location. Ja, es ist ein Pub. Denn was gibt's Britischeres, als sich hemmungslos zu besaufen, rumzugrölen und schlechtes frittiertes Essen zu essen? Und all das gibt's heute für meine Gästinnen. Los geht's mit Kochen. 3 mehr Fish and Chips und Erbsenpüree. Griechen. Dafür rufe ich auch meinen guten Kumpel Eran Tibi an. Er ist Chefkoch im Londoner Restaurant Balabai. Ihr Claim, Tel Aviv nach London bringen. Passt doch. Andere Juden haben Fish and Chips hergebracht. Er wird schon wissen, was er macht.
Hello.
Hey Eran, how you doing?
Oh my God, Daniel, how are you gorgeous?
Look, I'm cooking fish and chips. Can you give me some tips?
All right, listen closely. You start with seasoning the fish. You have to salt the fish before you even start putting it in a batter.
Okay, so I can do that. Und um zu sehen, ob der Fisch wirklich frisch ist, brauche ich meinen Küchenassistenten Loki. Loki, sitz. Wie ist der Fisch? Ich glaube, der ist gut.
Second thing, you fry the fries.
Like I wanted to cook them.
Listen, you have to listen. You fry the fries. Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Ich weiß, die Engländer nennen es Chips, aber ich nenne es Pommes. Und diese Fritte geht jetzt in die Fritteuse.
First round, 150. You get them soft, you take them out.
Sieht doch richtig lecker aus.
Second round, 170. You get them cooked from the outside.
Ich wollte schon als kleiner Junge mal eine Frittenbude aufmachen. Fritten und Currywurst. Da meine Mutter aber sagt, du bist Jude, das darfst du nicht. Das ist nämlich Schweinefleisch. Ja, ficken, wa? Das Leben ist hart. Und vor allem kein Ponyhof. Und vor allem keine Frittenbude.
Before you serve, whack it up, 180, and then fry it until it's golden brown.
Sieht gut aus. Und jetzt die Panade für den Fisch. Mehl, Pfeffer, Backpulver und Bier. Dunkles Bier.
Now, the key for a really crunchy and fluffy fish is the difference between the temperatures. The batter needs to be really, really, really cold, like freeze cold. And the oil needs to be on precisely 170 degrees.
Okay.
The second those two touch each other, you create the reaction of a very fluffy and super crunchy batter that is invincible.
Der Fisch kommt jetzt erst ins Mehl und dann in den Bierteig. So, und jetzt frittieren wir den Fisch. Kann man die da alle zusammen reintun? Ja, die haben den Spaß zusammen. So eine Fischparty in der Fritteuse. So, schauen wir uns mal an, wie der Fisch geworden ist. Ja, das sieht nach einer sehr guten Fischparty aus, aber nicht so gut nach Fish and Chips. Ich glaube, ich mache das nochmal. Oder? Also, was meint ihr? Ich finde, ich kann die verkaufen. Also, als Kunst, nicht als Essen. Vielleicht hätte man es heute doch einem Briten überlassen sollen.
Und zum Glück habe ich heute 2 wunderbare Exemplare, Briten zu Gast. David Baddiel und Dana Margolin. Unterschiedlicher könnten beide nicht sein, aber wenigstens sind sie beide Juden. Jews. David Baddiel. Er selbst sagt über sich, he's English. Und was kann er eigentlich nicht? Bücher schreiben kann er. Vor allem, wenn es um Juden geht, denn he's a Jew. Hey, das hat er gesagt. Guck mal, Jews don't count. Er kann Menschen zum Lachen bringen, wenn man nicht so ganz auf Political Correctness steht, denn er ist Comedian. Und, put the record on, obwohl er ein kleiner Jude ist, hat er den größten englischen Fußballhit der Welt zu verantworten. Und hier kommt sie, Dana Margolin. Musikalisch ist auch sie unterwegs, aber doch mit ein bisschen mehr Klasse als David.
Dana ist Frontfrau der Indie-Rock-Band Porridge Radio und sagt über sich selbst, sie ist Sängerin und Gitarristin. Sie schreibt ihre Texte sogar selbst und, what a surprise, es geht nicht um Juden. Sie ist Autorin. Wenn sie nicht gerade auf Tour ist, dann widmet sie ihrer Zeit der Malerei. So, genug der Beschreibungen. Jetzt wird in gutem englischem Stil gesoffen, gegrölt und diskutiert. Ganz, ganz höflich natürlich. Hello, lovely people.
Hello, Daniel.
Here you go.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips, because we're in Britain, and that's what British people eat.
Thank you very much.
And two fish and chips for you, of course.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Should I say a bracha? Since this is this the only show with Jews in the title?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Friday night Jews. So Freitag Nacht Juden.
Freitag Nacht? No, Jews. We do.
Oh, you go for Jews?
Yeah, because people are afraid of the word human.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes, I was triggered immediately by you saying that. I nearly ran.
You didn't spasm though. That's good.
Well, I didn't spasm, but I wanted to run.
People get like.
Yeah. Although, do you have to say it like that?
No, no.
Do you have to go Juden?
No, you can go Juden.
Yeah. Oh, that's also
lovely.
weird though. That's creepy. But it is amazing that that we're in a pub in Britain and you've got the word Jews there, and there isn't a show like this.
Yeah.
Not even in America. There's not a show on mainstream telly that just talks about Jews.
So maybe it's
kind
good
of
Germans
brilliant.
feel so sorry for themselves. Bracha?
Should I say it?
Yeah.
Over that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam ha'maltzi lechem min ha'aretz.
Is it with the finger guns?
Yeah.
Never
You
seen
have to-
that before.
No, that's what you have to do. You have to
Baruch atah
point
Adonai.
it. You have to point at what you're saying a blessing over. I don't know if you know that.
Okay,
It's in the
great.
Talmud. Everyone have some bread.
Yes, we have to. We have to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being my guest today. What was the last Friday night dinner invitation you had?
You answer that.
I don't even remember. I go to my parents quite a lot of Friday night dinner.
Okay.
So it's like a fairly
You don't
regular.
sit alone at home, a lonely Jew.
No, I do not.
Did you have proper Friday night dinners at home when you were
Yeah,
younger?
every week.
Did you?
Every
Are you
Friday.
frummer? Than...
No, not at all. Really, like, secular parents. But, like, you know, had to go to Friday night dinner every single Friday. Like, couldn't go out on a Friday night as
Really?
a teenager. Yeah.
I mean, that is... I didn't have that.
Oh, really?
No, not at all.
Do you have it now?
No.
So look, it
It's
took a
very-
German
Yeah.
to come to London.
Yeah.
To get
This
you to
is
Friday
this
night
may
dinner.
be the first Jewish Friday night dinner I've been to for ages and ages and ages.
And it's filmed.
And it's in
Perfect.
German and it's filmed and...
You
It's
really think you do this all the time? Don't
Oh.
give it away.
Did you cook this? Mm-hmm. It's absolutely brilliant.
Is it good? Okay, good. I'm happy. Did you try the fish over there? Yeah?
Yeah.
And it's good.
So I had a weird Jewish upbringing. Like my grandparents who were fleeing from Germany. In fact, my mum, born in Germany. I can go back to the fact that I am the only German at this table.
You are the only
I'm the
German
only
at the
one
table.
with proper German roots at this table, which is mad. Okay?
tut mir total
Hello,
leid.
hello,
Ich wünschte-
motherland.
Huge apologies. I wish I was the real German at the table, but it's David Baddiel.
Yeah, my mum was born in Königsberg, now Kaliningrad, of course, but Königsberg, she was born in April 1939, or maybe June 1939.
Good timing for a Jew.
Yeah, well, yeah, so got out 3 weeks before the war. But when I was growing up, my dad kind of ruled the roost, and he's like he was a fundamentalist atheist or whatever. So we were having bacon and eggs and stuff for breakfast, and completely not doing anything. But then the only nearest primary school to where I live, where a Jew wouldn't get bullied for being Jewish, was an Orthodox Jewish school called the North West London Jewish Day School. So full of bacon and eggs. I'd get there and I'd have to wear a sit and
everything.
and a yarmulke and say a blessing before every single food. And they were so religious, and I remember telling my daughter this, and she couldn't believe it, that we couldn't have milk after meat, right? Okay, I don't know if any of people Jewish watching this understand what I'm talking about. You're not allowed to eat milk after meat, a proper kosher thing. So because it's a primary school, they have to have custard, right? In the British primary school, you have to have custard.
You have to have that.
Yeah, but they made it with water, which meant it was the most disgusting thing ever. So to try and make it nicer for kids, they would make it weird colours, like bright green and blue. Like blue custard,
water-based
That's
custard.
horrific.
Yeah, and I remember I was telling my daughter this when she was younger. And
I guess they didn't have soy milk at that point.
No, God, no. I was telling my daughter this on the way to her primary school, and she looked really upset, and she said, "Poor Daddy had to have blue custard." And I remember thinking I could put that on my gravestone, maybe.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I might. I might.
So both of you have grown up in London?
Yeah.
Fully. So you're Londoners.
Well, I was born in New York. Just to add to the Jew thing. Because my parents went and lived in New York, in upstate New York, not even in cool New York. So I don't really remember that, but I have got an American passport and a British one. And I'm thinking about getting a German one. Do you know this?
No.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a German passport, so I don't know what your...
Do you think David deserves a German citizenship?
Just asking if they think you're worthy of a German
Every time you
passport.
do that, I think, where's he looking to God? It's Hashem.
We're calling it the God
You're speaking to
Karen.
Hashem in German.
Did you not know that God is German?
God is German.
Yeah, of course.
He is.
Because only a German God could have allowed the Holocaust.
Wow. Wow.
So that went quick. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah, because the truth is, and I'm sorry to say this on a German show, I still feel kind of weird about Germany because basically they killed most of my family. So I think it's probably fair to feel weird about Germany.
It's a perfect thing you're saying now. So the reason we started the show in the first place was because in Germany there was no show about Jews, right? Like no show about Jews, no mention of Jews, unless it's about Holocaust remembrance. It's always about the Holocaust. We tried to make the first season in a way. We met young Jews.
Yeah.
Jews that are in media, Jews that are in politics. Well, I don't know, the first openly queer female rabbi to be.
Wow.
Stuff that Germans don't expect to be Jewish because Jews are piled up corpses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, season 2, what can we do? We want to go and ask in different countries how the perception is. And we have a thesis, like a debate topic for every country. And for the United Kingdom, the topic is, we're saying that Jews in Britain have it easier to...
Sorry,
that was a good one.
Yeah.
Jews, is it Jews?
Do it again,
Don't
do it
like
again.
Jews.
Yeah,
Jews in Britain.
The idea that she had it easier made her actually gag, actually have a fit.
Okay, yeah.
Jews like...
Nothing should be easy.
Jews really don't like to hear they have it easy.
I'm not going to stop laughing for the rest of the show now. I love this.
Tell me, what's your idea of Jews in Britain?
Is Jews in Britain have it easier to have both identities, a Jewish one and a British one, because for generations, they're rooted in the United Kingdom. They're not all migrants, and that's because the Holocaust didn't happen here. That's the debate topic we want to come in with. Okay. We want to say that that's very different to Germany. In Germany, 90% of the Jews came from the Soviet Union.
Right.
The ones who stayed are direct kids, grandkids of Holocaust survivors. Very difficult for me as well. Very difficult for me to say I'm German.
Right.
So I want to put that up to debate. Would you, both of you, consider yourself British?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would.
Is it difficult to say that?
No.
At any point?
No, I am British.
Yeah.
What's your family background?
My mum is from Hendon, and her mum is from Hendon. There's a lot of Hendon.
And her mum, and her mum, and her
And
mum.
before, before then it's all very Lithuania and Belarus, and like my dad's dad was from Belarus, and his mum is Kurdish. Well, she was born in Jerusalem, but before then, it was like, yeah, mainly Eastern European.
And you grew up with an understanding of being British?
Yeah, definitely British.
British and Jewish?
British, Jewish, yeah. Jewish, like, definitely as a primary part of that.
Have you ever thought twice when you were growing up about saying whether you want to reveal that you're Jewish to maybe like non-Jewish people around you?
Not when I was growing up, but actually as an adult, that's when I started thinking about it. And it was actually when I started thinking, like when I started performing and being on a stage, that I thought, okay, maybe now I don't want to reveal it. Because I think it's about being vulnerable to outsiders rather than being vulnerable to people who I'm directly in contact with.
But then you also think about the privilege you have to not reveal that. Like,
Yeah,
it's an interesting
exactly. Yeah, I think coming on this show specifically as well, that was an issue.
Yeah,
that I was thinking, okay, am I gonna?
You were scared.
Am I gonna be Jewish actually loudly?
And did that ever contradict you? Like, was there any point in your life, especially as a teenager, where you like start thinking about yourself as like the perception of, okay, I have a passport and this passport says I'm British. But then my friends or like my cultural background, my parents...
No, I've always just been like, I'm British, I'm English. That's always just been like my primary way of understanding who I am. It's only kind of like later in life that I started to think about more of a complicated...
I kind of envy that to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I never had that because we moved around so much that I've always, like, the one thing that was always, the only constant was the Jew. Because no matter if I was in Russia, in Germany, in Israel, because in Israel they called me the German one, which was the biggest irony of all. So I kind of envy that, especially like coming to London. When I came to London for the first time to drama school, I suddenly was there at Arts Ed and I saw all these people and everyone was like, oh, well, it started with I'm from Liverpool, I'm from Scotland, but you're all British. Yes, we are. But also, I'm Ghanaian, I'm Jamaican from Liverpool, I'm this from that.
OK, but let me tell you something which relates to what you were saying. So, one of the things that I'm thinking about doing, seriously, as part of the Jews Don't Count documentary I'm doing, is trying to get the census changed. Because the census, the British census that does the population demographic, as time has gone on, in a good way, it's got more and more representative of the diversity of British culture, right? So it has now 4 or 5 different black categories that include West Indian or African or whatever, and then lots of different ones, including Arab and blah, blah. There's no Jew category. There's like 17 different ethnicities now on the British census, no Jew category. There is, under religion, you can put Judaism. That doesn't mean anything to me because I'm an atheist. And also, ethnicity is a whole different thing. My basic point in Jews Don't Count. Jews Don't Count, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a book about how progressive consensus seems to me to downgrade anti-Semitism as an issue and Jews as a sort of concern.
Especially when you conflate like within the whole
realm of that conversation. And it's not really a religion, or it's certainly not a religion as far as anti-racism goes.
Yeah.
Because I'm an atheist, but the Gestapo would have shot me tomorrow.
Of course.
Right? So it's irrelevant whether or not I keep kosher as far as racism goes.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the conversation that things like the census is supposed to be talking about, right? But Jew is not on there. It's not on there.
I'm just surprised that you want to write that you're Jewish.
I totally want to write about it. I totally want to write, because the thing about me, Donna, is I have a militant lack of shame about being Jewish. Like a militant lack of shame about it, which I think is quite rare. And when I talk to people about Jewish shame, so one of the things that when Jews Don't Count came out is that it had like 3 responses, but one of them I wasn't expecting. So one of the responses was progressive people saying, oh God, yeah, maybe you're right. The ones who said that, there were obviously ones who said, no, I hate this, I don't agree. But the ones who said that, then there were Jews saying, oh, we've been kind of saying this for a while, I'm glad you've packaged it up. And then there were a lot of Jews, both young Jews and older Jews, for different reasons, saying, I've spent my whole life sort of not telling people I'm Jewish. Like keeping quiet about it, either because they were like Holocaust or children of Holocaust survivors, or more interestingly, young Jews who exist in very kind of woke, very kind of like talking about issue spaces, who feel it's not legitimate to grasp that as an identity.
Do you have, like, asking somebody who exists in those spaces, do you ever feel a delegitimization of our own Jewishness?
No, not at all, but I don't think that I have suffered any discrimination in the way that, like, my black friends would have suffered. Like, I think that I am very white passing, and I've never felt like it's not that I don't feel like it's a legitimate, not a legitimate kind of racism, it's just that I don't think that my life is affected by racism in the same ways, and I don't feel like I need to stand at the front and shout about that.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with your experience, but I disagree with that as an idea for why anti-Semitism sort of should be relegated, because I think there's a number of things. Like, number one is the passing thing I have a real problem with, because like no progressive person would ever say to a gay man, OK, just don't tell people you're gay, just stay in the closet and, you know, you won't suffer homophobia. So why are you going on about it? They just would never say that. But they will say to a Jew, you can pass, no one knows you're white, just don't talk about being Jewish. They'll say that all the time.
Interesting. Has someone said that to you?
Totally,
Really?
because that's what the passing argument is. What
Not
is
quite.
the passing
I think
argument?
it's more that you can choose when you want to be.
Well, so can,
it's about having the choice.
No,
it's like I can walk around,
someone,
and it's like for me, it's a choice.
But so can someone gay. And there's always a
so
sense
that's like for them, but not all gay people can, or like not all trans people can. Like a lot of the time, it's a privilege to be able to pass.
Yeah, I don't really agree with that.
You get to.
I don't really agree with that. No, I don't think it can be, but I think it can also feel like you saying it's a privilege to be able to pass feels to me like just another way of saying you can stay in the closet.
But to pass on the
outside. But it's not at all. That's not what it is. Yeah, it's like inside. I know that I'm Jewish, and that is really important to me, an important part of my identity, and an important part of my family life and my values. But I get to choose whether or not people know that about me. Whereas a lot of people don't get the choice to say whether or not that is who they are. It's like, if you're walking around and you are a trans black woman, most of the time you don't get to say that, you know, you don't have the choice about whether or not people see you in a certain way. So I have a certain level of safety, which I think, that's my privilege, is that I get to choose that. I get to be in a taxi and not necessarily have to tell the taxi driver my background, because they can't just guess it.
But within the progressive space, I think there's a sense in which identity is something you should be proud of, right?
And I would say in front of everyone who knows it.
Right. Well, right, OK. But I think there's no reason why Jewishness should not fit an identity that you should be proud of all the time. Why should it not? And why would you not want to say it all the time? I'll tell you why
I'll tell you why I wouldn't. It's because as a musician who is a woman, I always get asked, what's it like to be a woman in music? It's not, tell me about your music just as a person. It's, what's it like to be a woman? The womanhood has to come first, and I don't want to have another thing where I have to say, oh yeah, like, I'm Jewish and a woman, and now I have to explain, like, the Judaism within my music, like, why can't the thing that I'm doing come first? And it's a privilege not to have to give things away. Or to be able to choose when you give things.
Because people can't see that on the first glance? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
So really, but the differentiation is then like what you can see and what you can't. But the feeling, I think, even given the fact that you've thought about that, to not give something away, is already like a point of giving in. For me, I'm a bit between because I
appreciate what Don's saying completely, but my experience in the progressive space is totally like empower these people, like empower them in their identities.
My experience in progressive spaces is that anti-Semitism is really legitimate and people really want to give me space to talk about that. And I just don't necessarily need to take up that space talking about it because I don't think that it's...
I don't agree with the notion of taking up the space, you see. I think there's an infinite space to talk about anti-racism.
Yeah, for sure, but like, you know, me talking means that somebody else...
Okay, so it hasn't happened to you, okay?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But I get that it happened to us.
Cool.
I think anyone should be able to talk about it.
I could show you a text from someone who's like 19 who is Jewish and incredibly in that space and like spends all his time at university in a state of allyship, right? And trying to help other minorities and blah, blah, blah. And he just wrote to me and said, look, I read your book and I realised I have spent all this time not raising my hand and saying, can we give like 3 minutes to anti-Semitism? Can we talk a little bit about anti-Semitism? Can we talk about the fact that maybe you've said something, you very woke person, that was maybe that I found anti-Semitic, but I didn't want to say that, because he felt entirely illegitimate about saying that, because essentially of things that you've said, which is an idea that all other minorities have it worse, all other minorities are kind of more important.
Well, I think
you
did say that.
But it's a different.
You did say that.
It's a self-perception. I think people just have completely different notions of what it means to take up someone's space.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I chose to talk about Judaism, and I did that on a big show on public German television, I suddenly got death threats for the first time in my life through social media.
Because
now,
you came out of the closet and you weren't passing anymore, and that's what happened.
Exactly, but also I used it because I, just like you, I have all the chutzpah and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, because I say it's important. For me, it's important because I think I'm doing something good for other people who might not be able to raise their voices. Whilst not delegitimizing the fact that I'm taking up any space of another minority, I go, like, look, my topic of anti-Semitism should not deflect off the topic of Black Lives Matter, but it can coexist in the same space. Yeah. That's what I believe in.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think it can
And also,
work.
it's not the same. The racisms are different.
Completely different.
You know, like the structural racism that black people face is in general not faced by Jews, right? But that doesn't mean that Jews are somehow invulnerable. In fact, as we all know, violent crime against Jews is incredibly on the rise. Hate crime against Jews.
But it's not saying that Jews are invulnerable. It's saying something else. It's saying that actually, like, that we do have certain privileges, and I think those are different things. Like, it's not saying, oh, I'm completely invulnerable because I'm
also not every Jew.
white. It's
like white-looking Jews.
Not every Jew.
Yeah, of course, it's different for everyone.
But also within the stereotype. I mean, if you haven't suffered from anti-Semitism, that is great. I have, and I think that within the stereotype, one of the ways in which anti-Semitism continually creeps in is the notion from people who don't even think they're anti-Semitic that Jews are invulnerable, that they're powerful and privileged, that they don't really suffer racism, that it isn't really a proper racism, and that Jews raising their hand and talking about it are taking up space from other minorities.
When you say I have suffered anti-Semitism, what does that mean?
It means that I've been at Chelsea and there's a thing that I did where I was trying to raise awareness of the fact that because Tottenham are seen as a Jewish club, which itself is anti-Semitic because 95% of them aren't Jews, but they have a thing whereby they chant what I call the Y word, which is the word Yid, and they've been chanting it for years. And I was once at my club, Chelsea, and when anything to do with Tottenham comes up, as a result of this, the whole crowd starts chanting Yid in an incredibly menacing way. They chant Spurs are on their way to Auschwitz, Hitler's going to gas them again. Like, incredibly. I've put up with this for years. Yeah. So one day, me and my brother are there in the place that we sit, and this happens, Yiddo, Yiddo, yeah. And then one guy behind us just starts shouting, fuck the Jews, fuck the Yids, fuck the Jews, over and over again. It's incredibly frightening, incredibly horrible. Yeah. And no steward did anything. That's the point. Stewards charged, as they are by that time in football, with any racism heard in the terraces means that person is thrown out for life. They did nothing because they don't see it as racism.
That's awful. And I think that there's two different things happening there. Because that, on the one hand, that is anti-Semitism and that is racism and something should be done about that. But that is not to say that in progressive spaces people don't take anti-Semitism seriously, because I think that they do. And I think that there's two different issues. One is that anti-Semitism is really real and really exists and people really suffer from it. And the other one is that in progressive spaces maybe people don't have like a very strong understanding of what anti-Semitism is, but when I think people are really willing to learn and really willing to engage with it and really willing to stand up for Jews, and that is just what I've experienced.
OK, that is great, and I don't think you're wrong, and this happened a while ago, and I think things have changed, partly because me and my brother then made a film called The Y Word trying to draw attention to it, and that was heard.
Question, does a Jew realise he's a Jew or she's a Jew when they suffer anti-Semitism?
I think more so, yeah.
Yes.
I think I become more Jewish.
What's like the core of feeling Jewish? Because I never understood it myself. Like, when people try to explain your Judaism, I go, fuck, I don't know. I don't have words. Like, I feel it.
I think for me it's like a commitment to my family and family life, and it's a love of, I guess it's community building. And I think as a teenager, the things that made me feel really Jewish was going on Jewish summer camps and singing together with other Jews and learning about Jewish history and Jewish traditions, and it's lighting the candles. And I think singing on camp was a way, or singing in Jewish spheres was a way of understanding that you don't need to be a good singer in like, you know, theoretical terms to be able to sing with emotion and sing in a way that connects you to people. And I think for me that's an incredibly Jewish thing.
I also think with my although I can't sing, although I have had 4 number ones, but I can't sing. That's weird.
Showing off.
I am showing off.
Someone's had 4 number ones. How many number ones have you had?
I haven't had a number one.
Look,
do you think we should have number one?
He's actually had 4 number ones.
Maybe it's because he's more Jewish than we are.
I am clear.
I think it's because he's more Jewish.
That's amazing. 4
Because he's
number
called
ones.
David, but he wrote a book called
Let's talk about this.
Look, I'm clear it was a humble brag. It's a humble brag, OK? Bang to rights. But, you know,
I want a number. How do we get a number one?
Now everyone's going to know that he had 4 number ones.
Well, it was just a weird fluke in my case.
What do you want?
I want a number one song. What was the first number one song?
No, it was only one song. It's one song, which is 3 Lions. Football's Coming Home has been released 4 times.
It's been released 4 times?
And gone to number 1 every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cheating.
Yeah, completely cheating. Are you going to sing it?
No, we're going to play a game now.
Okay, cool.
Great.
So what I'm going to do is, I'm pouring you.
What's this? Because we were talking about it and I said pickle juice.
I can't drink alcohol. Is it alcohol?
It's not alcohol.
Okay.
It's worse. It's a mixture of pickle.
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah,
you already called
juice?
it.
I did say
and he said it's
So it's pickle juice, a mix of egg, pickle.
I was smelling it first, obviously.
Pickle juice would literally translate to pimple juice, but of course this is real and actual pickle juice. We mixed different kinds and made a shot out of it.
Yeah, you're really treating us.
I'm treating you really well, and we're going to play a song.
Is it like a game whereby if we lose the game we have to drink the pickle juice? Okay.
Of course. So I'm starting to play a song.
Okay.
Whoever knows the artist...
This is really summer campy.
The name of the song...
Yeah.
And whether or not the performer's Jewish.
Oh,
and
wow.
all 3 need to be right. If you're right, you don't have to drink
Name
pickle juice.
artist and Jew or not. Great.
Okay.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. No?
You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you very much.
It's lovely, yeah, but I don't know it.
Really, it's Maroon 5.
Oh, yeah, so he's Jewish.
He is Jewish.
Adam
Levine.
Levine,
You
yeah.
both have to drink the pickle juice.
No, I knew that. Doesn't that help?
No, it's all 3.
All of it or
You're
just one
joking.
sip?
All of it.
What if this kills me?
I'll be sick if I drink all of it.
This will kill me.
On an empty stomach?
Okay, fuck, I'm not drinking all of that. I'm sorry,
it bad?
Danny.
It's nice, but it's like you have to drink
No,
it
it's
slowly.
vinegar. It's like drinking vinegar. I'm not going to drink all of it.
Just have a little sip.
I had a sip.
I heard that you settled down, that you found a girl and you're married
It's
now.
Adele, and she's not Jewish.
She's not Jewish.
Adele is not Jewish.
She's not Jewish. She's not Jewish.
Adele is not Jewish.
I love her so much.
If you tell me,
I love her, she can't
if
be
you
Jewish.
tell-
I love her too much.
If you tell me...
Song title.
Oh,
Oh, it's Someone Like You, isn't it?
You have to drink.
Oh no!
I think Dana loves the pickle juice. Okay, you know this one. This needs to... He left no town.
Amy Winehouse. Okay, Jewish and Jewish.
Keep going.
Back to black. It's Back to Black, isn't it?
By Amy Winehouse. She's Jewish.
Yeah.
Okay, you're playing together now. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to take you somewhere so you know I care, but it's so cold.
Another Love. Is it Tom Odell?
Yeah?
I don't
And he's not Jewish.
David's drinking.
Chug it.
I'm not chugging it. Honestly, I will be sick if I chug this.
Chug it. One more sip.
I mean,
why are you doing this to me?
Have another sip. Come on.
Okay, I mean, you both were less good than I expected. Yeah, that's all the songs.
Oh, I thought you were getting something that I knew.
Okay.
It's really nice.
I think we got to cheers with the pickle juice.
Yeah, I think we ought to.
I honestly think if you drink all that, you'll basically
you'll
create an immediate
You will
ulcer
throw up.
in your stomach. It'll be like
you become Christian.
Well, no, that's only blood of children.
True. Oh my God, this is terrible. Ich habe euch gebeten, ein paar Fragen zu
I
schicken.
asked you to send me some questions for my British guests, and those questions will be forwarded now.
What are your dreams and hopes about the Jewish future in Britain?
That's a real question?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have dreams and hopes about the Jewish?
I love that you diverted the question immediately.
No, I don't have dreams and hopes. Yeah. No, not in the sense that I lie in bed at night thinking, I really wish that my rabbi can dance on a mountain. No, but I guess I do have I have a bit of a hope that Jews will be included a bit more in that conversation than before. That's what I hope.
Would any of you consider living in Germany? The land of the perpetrator.
Don't think of Germany as the land of the perpetrator. What's the matter with you?
But that's the question of this German person asking you this. That's the funny thing. It's not me. Sorry. I don't think Germany's the land of the perpetrator.
Okay, sorry.
I live anywhere.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even in the land of the perpetrators?
Even the land of perpetrators.
But there are other reasons why I couldn't live in Germany.
Okay. Like, I don't speak German.
I don't speak German.
I mean, like Germany.
I don't like the German.
I don't like German. I'm not sure about the food. The food here was great, but this was English food. And I'm going to say something which is probably stereotypical and maybe xenophobic, but I'm not sure about the German sense of humour, except obviously in your case. Oh. But you're Russian and Ukrainian.
That's my last question, actually.
Yeah.
Sense of humour. Given the very dark humour in the UK, how do you feel about Holocaust jokes?
Well, I have a whole thing that I do about Holocaust jokes, which is that I think you can tell a Holocaust joke that is horrible and mean and cruel and mean-spirited and racist, and you can tell a Holocaust joke, because for me, jokes are not about the subject matter, they're about the joke. Yeah. And a Holocaust joke can shine a light on the absurdity of the situation, or it can satirise the perpetrators, or it can make the people, the victims, Germans, feel less alone, or whatever. I'll tell you a Holocaust joke.
Please.
Let me tell you a Holocaust joke. This is a beautiful Holocaust
I love
joke.
Them so
well,
much.
this is a beautiful Holocaust joke.
This Holocaust joke is for you.
It was told to me by a Jewish academic, a really wonderful woman called Devorah Baum. Okay. And it's about a Holocaust survivor. After the war, a Holocaust survivor dies of natural causes sometime after the war, goes to heaven. When he gets to heaven, God asks the survivor to tell him a Holocaust joke. So the survivor does. And God says, that's not funny. And the survivor says, well, I guess you had to be there. Good night.
Thank you so much for being here. Liebe Leute, die Diskussion ist noch lange nicht vorbei. Wenn ihr mitdiskutieren wollt, gerne unter dem Hashtag Freitagnachtjuice auf allen Social-Media-Plattformen, auf denen wir erhältlich sind. Und auch in der Mediathek und natürlich im linearen Fernsehen. Ich freue mich sehr, dass meine Gästinnen heute bei mir waren und ich wünsche Ihnen einen wunderschönen Abend.